Welcome to Trendy Flix, your ultimate destination for the latest in movies, TV shows, and streaming trends. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the entertainment curve. Bridgerton costume designers break down the real-life figures who inspired Season 3 looks. Exclusive. These are the inspirations behind all the Season 3 looks, from Jessica Rabbit to Audrey Hepburn. Bridgerton is giving Regency-era attire a modern update this season. The Netflix series has become known for its extravagant costumes, and Season 3 is no exception. While the show has previously drawn from historical references with the period-accurate silhouettes and corsets, this season they're including a few more contemporary references. Speaking with PEPL exclusively, Bridgerton costume designers John Glaser, George Sayer, and Doji Hawks gave insight into all the real-life figures and time periods they looked at when creating each character's look. For Penelope's big transformation, in particular, they wanted to pay tribute to old Hollywood icons, from her soft curls to her sexier gowns. Additionally, they softened her color palette as she moved away from bright Featherington yellows to layers of green and blue, which was a clever nod to her family's color and Colin's Bridgerton blue. A little bit of that coloring also comes from what Dovey did for Colin when he comes back from Paris. He has a little bit of mint green in his cravat, Glaser points out, and she's picked up on that. That's why some of her coloring is influenced by him, because he's come back from Paris. We know that she's in love with him, so she's absorbed it a little bit. Read ahead for all the real-life figures who inspired the Bridgerton looks this season, from Jessica Rabbit to Audrey Hepburn. For Penelope's, Nicola Coughlan, big season, the costume designers wanted to push her into a more mature look. To do that, they drew inspiration from the 1950s. Specifically with her hair and makeup, they looked at old Hollywood icons including Lauren Bacall. When you look at photographs from old Hollywood, the people just look great. Their hair looks great, they look great, but you don't really remember what they're wearing because it's all about their face and who they are, Glaser explains. That's what we tried to do. We gave her a silhouette that looked great on her body, that helped mature her, make her look a little sexier than she has, and her hair is based on Lauren Bacall. Additionally, they drew inspiration from the cartoon bombshell Jessica Rabbit. This can definitely be seen in Penelope's glow-up moment as she wears a bold emerald green dress at the first ball of the season. However, the costume designers note that after her big debut is a failure, she retreats to a softened color palette. She's the center of attention at the ball, and it all goes wrong. So she retreats and suffers her palette right back so she can once again be back to being the wallflower to an extent, Sayer says. The clothes aren't telling the story she is. In contrast to the baby blues he wore in earlier seasons, this season shows a much more rugged side of Colin, Luke Newton, which was inspired by everything from cowboys to rockers. Of the three major brothers, he's the youngest. He's the baby, apart from Gregory. We deliberately kept him youthful in earlier seasons, Hawks explains. As Colin returns from his travels at the beginning of Season 3, Hawks adds that his look further showcases how he's grown up and learned about the world, from wearing a leather belt that wasn't seen in Regency London at the time to open shirts to show his sex appeal. Glaser notes that one reference they looked at was the Marlboro Man from the 1970s TV commercials, while Hawks adds he was inspired by 80s rockers. My growing up in costume history is really the 80s, so I was very much hooked up with the 80s pop culture scene and worked with a lot of bands at that time, Hawks notes. So I wanted to bring that back in personally for me, and I thought Colin was the ideal person to do that with. There's a bit of heavy metal in him, if you like, and there's a bit of new romanticism in him, Hawks continues. But I think we saw that long overcoat look come in with Armani in the early 90s. I wanted to get a bit of that in, because it's a very strong silhouette. So we worked on those little nuances and then presented it to Luke in the fitting room. I think a little smile came on his face when he saw himself grow up.